Stay tuned for the Splash Live. It's time for the Splash Live from Civic Center TV, featuring stories from and about people like you in the Greater West Bloomfield area. Simulcast on cable, 89.3 Lakes FM, social media, and the web. Now live from Green Media Center on Walnut Lake Road, it's the Splash Live.
Live, local, social. It's the Splash Live on Civic Center TV and 89.3 Lakes FM. I'm your host, Jake Schaff, going over all of the biggest news and events from right here in Greater West Bloomfield. Just recently, a beloved staple of the community made its grand return just in time for the holiday season. I stopped by the West Acres Craft Show to see the artists and designs on display for everybody just in time for the holidays.
Oh, it's great. I have been here for about the last 6 years. I grew up in West Acres, so this is my neighborhood. I love to support this, and they've always had wonderful crafters here. The neighborhood supports the show very nicely.
It's very exciting. There are so many nice people. This is my first booth that I've done by myself, so I'm having a lot of fun, and I've sold a few things, so I love it. It's been great. I love watching people enjoy everybody's different way of expressing their art. So it's just fun watching people like what people do and have fun talking and see new people, see people that have been around the neighborhood. So that's been fun too.
So what have you seen from everybody here today checking out the West Acres Craft Show?
Well, the turnout is fantastic. The place is very crowded. Everyone seems to be having a good time, and the vendors are wonderful. There are some new vendors here that I hadn't seen in the past, and all of the work is just top-notch, and it's a very, very good environment and happy, and it's fun today. It's exciting.
All the great things that the West Acres Craft Show is doing, it's all going to an amazing cause, isn't that right?
Yes, it is. It goes to a charity every year. They choose a animal rescue, and it also goes to continue the programs here at West Acres.
This year's charity for the West Acres Craft Show was the Michigan Animal Rescue League, a nonprofit animal welfare providing the highest quality of life to dogs and cats through rescue, medical care, and sanctuary.
I think it's so important that the community still do local programs like this, especially with everything happening in the world. Everyone has a lot of things going on, and this brings a community together, and you do get to see the wonderful artwork that some of the local artisans do that we wouldn't know about if they didn't have programs like this.
Yeah, it's really good to see the local stuff being done too and being showcased. You know, you got everyone from woodworkers like me to people are knitting, crocheting, and jewelry designers, and all kinds of different things. Just that there's so much local talent. I mean, if you look around, there's so many things people are so talented doing different things that they love and enjoy.
I hope that when they come and see me, I have return customers, because you're never going to see the same design. So when you come back, I'm not going to have the same thing that I did the previous year. So I'm hoping that you're wearing a one-of-a-kind piece that doesn't look commercial and that is unique, that nobody else is wearing.
So many incredible forms of artistry on display with the West Acres Craft Show, from sculptures to jewelry to woodworking. There was something for everybody, and all are going to make amazing gifts for the holiday season. Some scaly friends stopped by Doherty Elementary School recently as Dan the Creature Man gave preschoolers an exciting hands-on lesson about a variety of animals. The children were captivated as they learned fun and fascinating facts about different creatures, sparking their curiosity and appreciation for wildlife. A lot of great highlights. You saw a turtle. They got to meet a python. They got to touch a python, which is such a unique opportunity. And it was an experience that brought big smiles and plenty of excitement. It was a memorable day of interactive, activity-based learning that perfectly embodied the spirit of activity learning. You can see all the smiles on the West Bloomfield School District Facebook page at West Bloomfield Schools. The Soul Studio Holiday Market invites the community to celebrate creativity and connection this season at the Farber Center. The market will take place on Sunday, November 23rd from 10 to 3 and will showcase a variety of handcrafted gifts, artwork, and unique creations made by talented Soul Studio artists. Visitors can browse one-of-a-kind pieces perfect for holiday giving while supporting local artistry and inclusion. The festive event is hosted by the Friendship Circle of Michigan, and it blends art, community, and holiday spirit in a warm and welcoming environment for all to enjoy. And having been to Soul Studio several times, I know that the artistry is going to be incredible, and everybody is in for a real treat. Online and phone scams can occur at any time and any place. And recently in West Bloomfield, there has been a series of scam calls coming through of individuals claiming to be West Bloomfield Township officials, asking for money and personal information from residents. It's a reminder to residents of Greater West Bloomfield to know who you are speaking to and to be wary giving away private information. And the township is hard at work to make sure this issue does not continue. Terry Weingarten, the treasurer for the West Bloomfield Township, joins us now on the Splash Live to tell us more. Terry, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thanks so much for having me today. I really appreciate it.
Of course.
Go ahead. Thank you so much. There's been a lot of scams going on. So the current big scam we have is if you come before one of our commissions, planning, zoning, and you think that you're going to be able to do the building project that you're so excited to do, you might get an email from the township, but it isn't from the township. And it will look like a real invoice because these people have really become more sophisticated. So it used to be when you got an email, there would be spelling errors, grammatical errors. It didn't really sound like the kind of English that we speak here. However, with AI technology, the scammers are getting a lot better. So if you get an invoice from the township asking you to wire or ACH funds, just know we don't do that. We have the same ways to pay that we always have. So you can always come in person and pay by check. You can go online through our website and there are ways to pay. You can use our Dropbox and pay. Sending electronic funds, never gonna happen. We will never, ever allow that. Also, realize that as government, we have certain email addresses. So for instance, this is kind of a copy of what it looked like. It looks real, but if you look at the top, you'll see it's not wbtownship.org that you're getting the email from. It's probably some strange email address. Just like was mentioned in the last portion, if you get a phone number coming through or an email address you don't know, AI is making it even a little easier for the bad guys to make it look legitimate. Always say, you know what, this sounds a little off. Let me call you back or let me email you back. Go to our website, look up the phone number, 248-451-4800, call into the main line and ask to talk to the department, or go to our website and click on a link to send a message to one of us. Don't trust that the inbound call or email is legitimate. Make sure that you're taking control of the situation and verifying.
That's absolutely right. And it's great to hear that you guys are on top of this and you are making sure that everybody knows to watch out for emails like this. How did you first become aware that people were receiving these fraudulent emails?
So we actually were sent a copy of this email from a resident, and they were they unfortunately were scammed. And the problem is we didn't receive the funds. So we do have an FBI case set up for this. So we take these scams very seriously. And we realized that we needed to let our residents know. So I will be, I have just enough time to create an insert for the tax bill. I will be sending this information in my tax bill this year, which is going to be mailed out very soon. People receive it around December 1st, showing kind of what the fake invoice looks like. But like I said, just remember that's not how we're going to communicate with you. And also remember, if anybody's ever kind of pressuring you, like you must do this now, it's due now, there's an emergency, anything like that, they do it so that you'll just react, take a beat, breathe, call a friend, call a relative, call us, and just say, this sounds a little off. What do you think? And usually your friend, relative, or town hall will say, that doesn't really sound legitimate. And then always do your due diligence, because there's just a lot of very sophisticated scams. They can even replicate how we look now. So for instance, I'm on this interview right now, which means they know what I look like. They know what my voice sounds like. They technically could mirror me and have me calling you. So just because you think you know someone's voice, ask some questions that would make it obvious if they were really them. And like I said, always be the one who initiates the contact if you can.
All great things to be aware of. And you're absolutely right. These scams are getting a lot more, people are getting a lot more clever with these scams. And like you said, with AI, it's becoming harder and harder to detect things like this and to separate fact from fiction. So I'm curious, what ways legitimately do township officials typically reach out to residents, and how can people verify if that contact is real?
So we normally mail bills, like for instance, your tax bill, your water bill. Unless you've requested an auto pay on your water bill, you're going to get something in the mail. We talk to people via the phone or emails coming from our emails, but we'll never have a link in the email asking for money. We'll never, in an email, say, click here and pay us. We'll always have you go through the website or through one of the normal payment processes, which normally people just come in and pay by check at the counter. So you just think about the mechanism. It's never going to be an electronic form of payment that's not initiated through our website or through us directly.
All right, great things to remember and ways to know if things are legitimate. Terry, how really important is community awareness in preventing scams like this, and what can neighbors do to help each other stay informed?
So that's a really good question. I think sharing this information with people, making sure people know. And also, any of us can be targets, right? So like I said, especially if you have elderly relatives, neighbors, parents, they're usually a bigger target because these scammers figure that they're more trusting and that they might not be as technologically savvy. So obviously, any of us can be targeted, and many of us have fallen for scams. But just be careful. Verify the information, and remember too, we're never going to ask for gift cards. That's always a big flag, right? Any electronic payment, gift cards. Anything where you're giving personal information, don't give your social security number to anyone. Like the bank, for instance, they're not going to call you. The IRS, they're not going to call you. We're only going to return a phone call. So just think about, how were you communicated with? Like if somebody sends you a text message and you don't know them, don't answer it, just delete it. A lot of times it's like a phishing where they want to build a confidence with you and then they think that you'll trust them. So just remember, if somebody's contacting you don't know, they're not your friend, and you have to keep your radar up.
You're right. It's little things like that. That's how they reel you in, and that's how they get you to disclose very, very sensitive information. All things to watch out for. For those just joining us right now on the Splash Live, I'm talking with West Bloomfield Township Treasurer Terry Weingarten about some recent scam calls and scam emails that have been coming through of people impersonating West Bloomfield Township officials, and things to watch out for to know if these forms of contact are legitimate. Now, Terry, you touched on this just a little bit ago, but obviously the rest of West Bloomfield Township has become informed with this, like the police officers. Are there partnerships with local law enforcement to track down and report these kinds of fraudulent activities?
Oh, absolutely. So even if somebody just contacts you and tries to scam you, let us know. Call the West Bloomfield Police Department. The case that we were made aware of did move all the way through, so the FBI is aware of it, because this is a very serious matter, that they're basically sending an email pretending that you owe money to the township. And it was a lot of money. It was thousands of dollars. So that wouldn't be how we do it. Like I said, we wouldn't send you an email and ask you to wire or ACH money electronically. We just wouldn't do that. But if you think somebody's trying to scam you, let the police department know. If it's legitimate, which usually it's not, but if it is, they'll let you know too how to get in touch with us and we can verify it for you. Always verify. If somebody says that you owe money, don't just pay it. Always verify and then pay it. It just takes a moment to make a phone call. So it's really important to keep law enforcement involved because they do track this. Years ago, we had a check scam where people were stealing our checks through the mail system, washing them, and then sending them to people that we didn't owe money to. And then they'd say, oh, we sent you $10,000. Sorry, it wasn't yours, but you can keep it if you send us back like $9,500. And people would do it. And so then the criminals would keep the difference. And when the people went to cash the checks were fake checks. So they're always coming up with new ideas on how to scam people, unfortunately.
That's right. And if you know of anything that has come your way, any suspicious emails or any suspicious phone calls, you can text 248-975-9200 for any concerns. You can call that number with any of your concerns. Once again, that number is 248-975-9200. That is with the West Bloomfield Police Department. All very, very important information, Terry. You've given out a lot of ways for people to stay aware of these suspicious texts or emails. What would you say is the biggest piece of advice above all else about safely handling these unexpected texts and emails of anyone claiming to be with the township?
You're going to think this sounds too simplistic. Take a big breath. Take a deep breath. If somebody's saying you owe money or you're in trouble or someone you love is in trouble, just stop. Take a deep breath and calm down and go slow and methodically. They're hoping that you're going to be stressed and anxious. And when people are stressed and anxious, they're not as careful. So if there's something coming at you that's stressful or hard financially, or someone's in trouble, take the breath and then say, I will investigate this. Thank you. And then make that phone call or email yourself to verify the information is correct.
You're absolutely right. Above all else, the most important thing to do is don't panic. Let everyone who needs to know what is going on, and people will take care of it from there, and you will be okay. That is, of course, the biggest thing everyone can remember. Terry, thank you so much for this conversation. I got one more question before we wrap things up. Looking ahead, how can residents stay connected with official township updates to ensure that they're getting accurate information from the right sources?
Well, first of all, we post these type of things on our website. Second of all, in the case of this scam, since it's such a sophisticated scam, I'm putting a message in my tax bill, but you always can call Town Hall. We have an open door policy. We're here every day. We're happy to talk to you. And also, as you mentioned, the police department, the administrative non-emergency line, they're aware of what's going on. And we all work together. I mean, we work with each other on a daily basis. We're very fortunate that all of our public safety and Town Hall, we really are an integrated force to protect you.
You're absolutely right. All of these great resources working together to make sure stuff like this does not happen. Terry, thank you so much for joining us today here on the Splash Live.
Yeah. Thank you so much. Have a good day.
You as well. All things to watch out for in Greater West Bloomfield. Be alert of suspicious scams, of suspicious emails, suspicious phone calls, anything that comes your way that might not look legitimate. If you find any of those concerns, you can call the non-emergency number for the West Bloomfield Police Department. That is 248-975-9200. Once again, that number is 248-975-9200. All things to look out for in West Bloomfield. The Orchard Lake Police Department is once again participating in No Shave November, a charitable initiative benefiting Maggie's Wigs for Kids of Michigan. And the campaign runs from November 1st to December 1st, encouraging officers to grow facial hair in solidarity with children experiencing hair loss from cancer and other medical conditions. Joining us now on the Splash Live to tell us more is the development director for Maggie's Wigs for Kids, Jennifer Fisher. Jennifer, thank you so much for joining us today.
Hi, thank you for having this opportunity for us. We really appreciate it.
We love having you on, and this is such a great thing that is going on all throughout Orchard Lake and with the police department. How did this partnership between the Orchard Lake Police Department and Maggie's Wigs for Kids originally begin?
Well, how this occurred is the former officer, Dan Caldwell from Orchard Lake, transitioned over to Milford Police, and he had met a child in the community who was experiencing alopecia, an autoimmune disorder causing hair loss. And he found out that our Maggie's Wigs for Kids in Michigan program had supported her. And this was the first time he had heard about our organization, and he wanted to support the kids in the community. So he went to the Milford chief, and they were able to start this initiative called Pigs for Wigs. He named it, we did not. They wanted to take a bad name for a police officer and turn it into something good. And so he connected with the other departments in the area, including Orchard Lake, where he had previously served, and garnered their support. And all of a sudden, it spread. It was like this huge friendly competition that these police departments wanted to join to support children right in their own communities.
I love it and love hearing about all these great ways you guys are helping out. I know quite a bit about alopecia. My father has had alopecia ever since he was in early high school, so I have grown up knowing what that is, and I know that it is something that a lot of work is being done to help fight alopecia, and lots of great things you guys are doing with Maggie's Wigs for Kids. How would you say the community participation in Orchard Lake and Greater West Bloomfield has evolved since this initiative first got started?
It's grown, and when other departments hear about this friendly competition, they want to join because they know they're just giving back to kids and families in their own communities. And with our Maggie's Wigs for Kids in Michigan program, we started 22 years ago. All of our services are available at no charge. The children receive a wig, they receive classes, social activities, field trips, and counseling, all on site at our wellness center in St. Clair Shores. And so when they see that they're supporting a charity that truly gives everything away for free, they want to support that effort because it's just going right back out in their own cities and townships.
That's right, and this is exactly the kind of initiative that anybody would want to support. I'm sure a lot of people have gained so much help with Maggie's Wigs for Kids. Is there a possible memorable story or maybe a testimonial from a family that has benefited from this program?
Oh my goodness, yes. There's probably about 5,600 testimonials I could give you because that's how many kids that we've been able to help at no charge, thanks to the kindness and generosity of the community. But every kid leaves an imprint on our heart, and every family is deeply touched by this program and this Pigs for Wigs initiative because insurance does not cover the cost of these wigs. And so even if they were readily available, families could not afford them. So when they see that there's a whole community of support and love behind them, it's monumental.
That's right. All great stories to come from something like this. And if residents are watching this, how can they get involved beyond just making a donation to this cause? Are there going to be some volunteer or maybe some sponsorship opportunities with Maggie's Wigs for Kids?
Absolutely. And there's other ways to give as well. We do appreciate hair donations so we can continue to make these beautiful wigs. It takes a good 10 inches of hair. We will also accept 7 to 9 inches to make a boy's wig or a short wig for a girl. So if you have your hair that is not chemically processed, it's long enough, it meets the guidelines on our website, you are more than welcome to donate your hair. We do need hair donations all year long. We also accept great volunteers if you have time and talent to give. We do need support with volunteering. We're a small grassroots local nonprofit organization, so we rely heavily on our volunteers to support us in continuing our mission. But there are sponsorship opportunities on our website. There is a special page under the How You Can Help section dedicated to Pigs for Wigs. So if you want to give to your local police department that way, you can do that, and then the funds will come back to the kiddos. But there's so many different ways to get involved. And I always say one of the most important things you can do is if you know of a child who needs our services, please refer them to us. We help everybody. We charge nothing. We turn no one away. We work with all 9 hospitals throughout the state of Michigan that provide pediatric oncology. We work with dermatology clinics, burn centers, whatever medical disorder the child is experiencing that causes their hair loss, we can help them, and we do it all for free.
Amazing. All great things to hear from you, Jennifer. I love it. For those just joining us right now on the Splash Live, I'm talking with the development director for Maggie's Wigs for Kids, Jennifer Fisher, who's talking about the ongoing efforts and the ongoing support throughout No Shave November as the Orchard Lake Police Department is participating in the event once again to raise benefits for Maggie's Wigs for Kids. Jennifer, what message do you hope that this campaign sends to both the public and the children that are receiving wigs from this program?
That they're not alone in their journey. You know, we're here beside them. So are the community officers, the administrative staff. Everybody is rallying behind these kids. We believe in them. We see their courage and their strength, and they are not alone. Because often when you're going through a journey like that, you might feel very isolated or alone, and you aren't. You have a whole community behind you, and we love you and we support you. And we also want to thank our wonderful departments. We have a total of 14 departments this year joining the Pigs for Wigs initiative, including Orchard Lake. And we want to thank you very much for your support. It means the world to these kids and families.
Of course, this is exactly the kind of thing anybody would want to support. And Jennifer, how would you say efforts like this reflect broader values, maybe of service and compassion, especially within local law enforcement, like what we're seeing with Orchard Lake?
Oh, that's tremendous. You know, they set a wonderful example. They inspire us all to go above and beyond the call of duty. You know, these departments, it's amazing. They really set the example for each other. They turn it into something fun, like a friendly competition, you know, who can raise the most, or, you know, who can generate the most awareness, or, you know, who's the hairiest. We've had a couple Facebook posts out there with the guys competing and showing their, you know, their mugshots. So it's really taking something fun, giving back, going above and beyond the badge, you know, to support the community. And, you know, I think that's why he started it, you know, that fundraiser so many years ago, 13 years ago, and called it Pigs for Wigs, taking that bad connotation and turning it into something good. You know, they just want to show that the police are there, they're there to protect and serve, but they're also there to support the community in other ways too.
That's what it's all about, Jennifer. I got a couple more questions before we wrap things up. What are your hopes for the future of this collaboration and the continued impact of Maggie's Wigs for Kids in Michigan?
So our first goal is first and foremost to find more kids and families in need of our services. And we know that they're out there because, like I mentioned, we've had 5,600 come through our doors. We know there are more kids. And so through this collaboration, it also raises that awareness. It puts us in touch with families who may have never even heard of us before, and their child might need help. And so first, we want to reach more kids. That's always the number one priority for us. We do also hope that as the years continue, since we're in the 13th year of Pigs for Wigs, that more departments hear about this initiative and that they too join the cause. Because again, the funds go right back out there, right back out in their own communities.
All amazing things. I love to hear it. Last question, Jennifer. Where can people go to learn a little bit more information about Maggie's Wigs for Kids and how they can help?
Great question. You can go on our website. It is www.wigsforkids.org with the number 4. We're Maggie's Wigs for Kids in Michigan. And on that website, too, you have all of the links to our social media. We're very active online. So you can follow us on Facebook, X, Instagram, TikTok, wherever you have a social presence. You can go and follow us as well and support the kids and just see their stories, see how we're helping them.
That's where you can go to support this mission and support this cause. Jennifer, thank you so much for joining us today here on the Splash Live.
Thank you, Jake. Appreciate it.
Of course, we want to see those beards. We want to see that long hair. Long hair, do care for this amazing cause with Maggie's Wigs for Kids. Hope to see all sorts of great things to come from this month and for the future. Pathways to Parenthood, a community-based event, is going to be hosted by Temple Israel in West Bloomfield on Thursday, November 20th from 7 to 9 p.m. Whether you're exploring options for growing your own family or simply seeking to learn about different family-building pathways, this event offers a safe space to learn, connect, and feel supported. Taylor Weintraub, the regional manager of the Jewish Fertility Foundation, joined us on the Splash Live recently to tell us more.
Taylor, thank you for joining us today. happy to have you on as you are going to be joining Temple Israel for this event coming up very soon here in later November. The name of the event is Pathways to Parenthood. Take us through that, because that kind of does encapsulate a little bit of everything that's going on here, exploring different ways that people can move towards starting a family, but being prepared for it.
Yeah, so the Jewish Fertility Foundation, our mission is to help families that are on a family building journey. We give grants, emotional support, mental support to those going through infertility and beyond. And so one of the big things that we do is, just because we're giving grants for fertility journeys, that's not always the path for everybody. So we always want to educate and give people the opportunity to see what else is out there. They don't have to just hit a wall on a fertility journey. There are other options and other opportunities. And another mission of ours is to always educate people on these different paths and these different journeys. So one of the events that we have created at JFF is Pathways to Parenthood, to help educate those going through these family building journeys and their loved ones.
And so as parents or potential parents are considering starting a family, a lot of the challenges that they're addressing beforehand are typically the logistical challenges. And there are some pretty common ones and some that maybe aren't so commonly considered before a person or a group begins to start their family. But there's also those emotional challenges also. What are some of the common emotional and logistical challenges that your organization helps families consider before they get started with this process?
Sure. So I think one of the big things that people always think about is fertility treatments and how much it can do to your body and how it's emotional, but it's also very expensive. So the financial aspect really puts a strain on people, not just financially, but emotionally in that sense. There's a lot of logistics, period, that goes into each journey of building a family, whether that be legal aspects, financial aspects, the medical aspects. There's a lot of testing that has to be done, whether you are going through it yourself or you are using a surrogate or you are using a donor, adoption, all of these things. There are home visits and tests, and a lot of the logistical stuff can also lead to the emotional turmoil that can come with it. And so with JFF, our goal is to provide not only the education and, of course, what we can do financially, but also the emotional support.
And so the speakers on this panel that will be taking place Thursday, November 20th, 7 p.m. until 9 p.m. at Temple Israel right here in West Bloomfield. It's going to include experts from the Jewish Fertility Foundation of Detroit, as well as Rabbi Jennifer Kaluzny from Temple Israel, and Carrie Provisor, who is a licensed social worker as well, kind of encapsulating a few different elements of the community and a few different elements of support systems that go into especially new parental units as they begin a family. And how important is it, in your experience, for individuals that are considering starting a family or actively trying to start a family to hear some of these stories and hear some of these perspectives as they begin this journey themselves?
I think it's almost as important, if not just as important, to hear both the personal standpoints and the professional standpoints. Of course, the professionals are the ones that have been doing this forever and know what your options are for the most part and things like that. But I think that's not going to help you see that there are people who come out of this on the other side and there is hope there. It's also important to hear not just the good stories, but I also think the not so good stories, so that expectations can be there and you know what to expect. And your loved ones should hear these things as well, because they need to know that it's not just because you're doing IVF does not mean that you are getting pregnant. Some of these women, unfortunately, going through IVF go through many, many rounds, and it doesn't always end with a baby. So I think it's important to hear all of these perspectives and what people have gone through and how they've gotten out on the other side, and just the opportunity to know that they're not alone when they hear these things.
And it's important, too, to consider these different stories, to hear these perspectives, to begin those discussions, because whether it is a family that's going to consider IVF or needs to consider IVF to start the journey to beginning a family of their own, or they don't need that, these stories can be very important in helping them learn a little bit of the process, eliminate some of those negatives that they may encounter as a result of hearing stories of people who have been there and been through that and endured that and gotten to the other side. But also, it forms that community, and I'd imagine reduces some of the loneliness of this individual or these individuals that are going through this process, typically as one unit. Now they've got more of a community.
Exactly. So this is a way to show that we have this community here for them. There are always resources there every step of the way.
And that's why this is an important discussion coming up in just a couple of weeks, very shortly from now, November 20th. It'll be a Thursday night, 7 p.m. to 9 p.m. Pathways to Parenthood at Temple Israel right here in West Bloomfield on Walnut Lake Road. And so as you go through this and you are having these discussions with people, why is it significant to explore multiple family building routes, not just, of course, the traditional routes, but also adoption, surrogacy, fertility treatments, as you mentioned, because it's not always a one-size-fits-all journey for parents or a unit of parents.
Exactly. I always say it's not a linear journey. Even if you end up doing IVF and having a baby on the other side, it's never linear. Families hit walls all the time with one path and may need to explore another one. And it's important to know that there are other options. Just because IVF may not work for you doesn't mean there is nothing else out there. And especially with all the logistics that go into it, not everybody's eligible for all of these paths. And it's not something that maybe they can do or it's feasible for them. So it's important to know that there are options.
And those options are going to be available to you in person, and you'll be able to get connected with these expert resources as well for even more consultation on different places you can look for additional research and additional resources so that you can learn more about these topics yourself after these discussions. For more information on Pathways to Parenthood, if you want to attend on Thursday, November 20th, templeisrael.org/events is the place to go for more on that. And then beyond that, what type of resources can people expect to learn more about as they do attend this discussion and they do have a chance to interface with some of these experts and other potential families?
I think, first of all, it's really important if you are coming to hear these paths, try and bring your loved ones too, because this will also be an opportunity for them to hear how to best support you on your journeys and get a better understanding of what it is that you might be going through. There also will be, of course, the logistical resources. So, for example, we have Alexis Cyril joining our panel, and she is a family and reproductive attorney out of New York, who's also barred here in Detroit, in Michigan. But she is a wonderful resource because all of these paths almost involve some sort of legal aspect, and not many people know that. So that's really important to hear. We'll also have some different resources there in terms of financial aid, not just us at JFF, but a couple other organizations in the area that can help with that. Family building consultants, that's a huge one because people don't know where to start. And I think that's the most overwhelming part of a journey is just getting to step one.
No one parent or no one family can really do this alone, go through this journey entirely solo or entirely as that maybe two-person unit, and neither can one organization like yours at the Jewish Fertility Foundation of Detroit provide all these resources and all the support all on your own. So how does collaboration with other organizations in the Metro Detroit area factor into the consultation you're providing to individuals at an event like this coming up in West Bloomfield, as well as the resources that you're then pushing them to after the fact for them to get more of that individualized help and care that they may need?
So yeah, it just like family building takes a village, so does JFF for sure. And so we have a really tight connection to our community, which I think is really wonderful. One of the biggest connections I would say that we need to help us get through to helping people is our connections with our fertility clinics here in Metro Detroit. Anybody who is awarded a grant through JFF is part of one of our partner clinics, and our partner clinics also offer discounts to those grantees going through their treatments so that hopefully that grant can go further, because as much as we wish we could pay for entire rounds of IVF, it's not something that we're able to do all the time. So those discounts are really helpful. We also work a lot with acupuncturists and local therapists and different things and organizations and people that also assist in fertility, because it's not just, the treatments itself, and it's not just the money. It's also the things that you feel you need to do for your body going into it. We also have a lot of collaborative partnerships on things like this event. For example, Temple Israel is fully sponsoring this event for us, which we're so thankful for. And with the Robert Sosnick Life Center there, it really just makes sense for us to be doing this with them to help families going through these challenges.
The website for more information, temple-israel.org/events. Top of that page will be Pathways to Parenthood. Click on that. You'll have all the information you need about attending this event Thursday, November 20th at 7 p.m. at Temple Israel on Walnut Lake Road right here in West Bloomfield Township. Joining us on the program today is Taylor Weintraub from the Jewish Family Foundation, as well, Jewish Fertility Foundation of Detroit, as well, as we discuss this upcoming event. Taylor, if people are not able to attend on November 20th for this Pathway to Parenthood event, what lasting words of encouragement or advice would you have for them as they continue on this journey and maybe look for these resources outside of this one event?
Yeah, of course. So first of all, JFF is always here. Just because we are the Jewish Fertility Foundation, we do work hard to help everybody in the community, whether you are Jewish or not. So we are always a resource for you. You are never alone, and we are always here to help. So please always feel free to reach out. If you even just want to talk to somebody about something, we have resources as well. So we are always here.
More information on the event can be found on temple-israel.org/events. And to get in contact with the Jewish Fertility Foundation of Detroit, you can find them on jewishfertilityfoundation.org/Detroit. Taylor, thank you so much for your time today.
Thank you so much.
Big thank you once again to Taylor for joining us on the Splash Live. Once again, the Pathways to Parenthood event is going to be taking place at Temple Israel in West Bloomfield on Thursday, November 20th from 7 to 9 p.m. For the 7th year in a row, a beloved deli in West Bloomfield has received one of the best honors you could get. Stage Deli in West Bloomfield was named the best deli in Oakland County by the Detroit Metro Times. Steve Goldberg, the owner of the Stage Deli, recently joined us on the Splash Live to share what this honor means to him and the community.
Steve, thank you for coming on the show today, and congratulations once again on this big honor.
Good morning. Thank you very much, and thank you for having me here.
Yeah, glad to have you on. This is a place that people who have lived in West Bloomfield, who come through West Bloomfield, they go to the Stage Deli. They love this place, and now it's getting the love again that it deserves, continuing to be pretty dominant amongst a pretty well-diverse area of delis throughout Southeast Michigan. What do you believe sets the stage apart from the competition?
Well, that's an interesting question. We've been doing this as a family for 63 years. And I'd say the number one thing is consistency. We consistently produce excellent food and great guest experiences. We love our clientele, we love our staff, and we just love being part of the community. And I thank all the Metro Times readers and the staff for voting us again number one in Oakland County.
And you started out, of course, your family opened this restaurant in the 60s here in Oakland County, moved into West Bloomfield in the early 80s, and has stayed here in your location on Orchard Lake Road and in this township ever since. Why West Bloomfield as the place to continue this family business and sustain it for now the majority of the time that it's been operating, almost 45 of those 60 years?
You know, it's for our restaurant, it's been a terrific, and our family, it's been a terrific love affair with the community. We love being here. It's a beautiful community. I love the values and the people. And, of course, the people who've shown their love to us. And hopefully they've had some great meals and memorable experiences there. You know, many people experience their entire life's watershed moments at our restaurant. We have all kinds of celebrations every week. And it's really gratifying to be part of the heartbeat of the community.
I've had some very important moments there as well, here with Civic Center TV and also with my family in recent years as well. It's been a place growing up in West Bloomfield that I know many families have gone to for a number of years, and one of the many reasons it has been honored once again by the Detroit Metro Times as the #1 deli in all of Oakland County. Steve Goldberg is the owner of the Stage Deli and joins us on the Splash Live today. More information on their website, stagedeli.com, or visit them on the boulevard on Orchard Lake Road on the east side across from the old Orchard Fitness on the boulevard just south of Powers Road. Steve, it's a difficult time, and it has been for several years for restaurants, especially locally owned, family-owned restaurants, to sustain themselves, both to bring in customers and to maintain the business and the standards that they've had. But the Stage has been able to do that and still be quite competitive in doing that too. What do you believe is the difference maker that has continued that momentum for your organization and continue to have it be a place that people want to work, people want to patronize, and the community continues to love?
Yeah, well, it's a great question. We do things right. We take care of our staff. We use only the finest quality ingredients. We have we make so much of our product from scratch in our kitchen. We have one gentleman whose only job is to make cheese blintzes and potato latkes. So that tells you a little something. And we're not just a deli. We're a full service restaurant. We have a huge menu of dinner entrees, great fishes and steaks, and I think people love the variety. You could have a chopped liver and tongue sandwich, or you could have a kale salad, or amazing broiled whitefish with soup and a couple of sides, and it's a good value.
And it's a great place to go for all that different value and all that different variety as well. You can give them a call at 248-855-6622 or visit them on stagedeli.com. Steve Goldberg is with us, the owner of the #1 deli in Oakland County, according to the Detroit Metro Times, and many right here in West Bloomfield Township over at the Stage Deli. It's not just a restaurant, too. You also have the deli counter that plays a big part in your business, too. And beyond that, your restaurant's open during the day, most days of the week, but every now and then you'll open it up even earlier to community gatherings like the Optimist Club, or sometimes even Rotary will have their meeting there. So how important has it been to you, especially now, 40 plus years into your family owning and operating that restaurant in West Bloomfield, to continue to incorporate it into some of the fabric of what the community means in this township?
We love to be able to do whatever we can to give back to the community. We have to do that within the constraints of our highly of our hardworking staff. But whether it's hosting a breakfast or giving to the community with food or donations, promoting particular events, we try and do what we can, and because we're very grateful. We're very grateful for the relationship with the community for going on 43 years now. It's not often that happens, and we're very cognizant of the special place that we hold in the community.
And obviously you and your family take so much pride in this. It is the family business. It's been operating since the 60s, but you also mentioned too, the team environment, taking care of your staff, making sure that they also care about the operation is such a critical part as well. How do you maintain that and those relationships? And beyond that, what do you believe about your staff makes them love working for the Stage and put that kind of pride into their work every day?
It comes down to caring. I care about my staff. One of the most gratifying parts of my job is to see my staff gain expertise, to thrive, to raise families. I have over 50 staff members who all have families. They put them through school, colleges, and they come back. The kids come back, and they're doctors and lawyers, and it's a wonderful feeling that the Stage Deli and our efforts have been able to accomplish that. And taking care of people will, they'll take care of you. Just, you be good to people.
Since 2019, been awarded the Detroit Metro Times #1 deli in Oakland County, hoping to go for year number 8 next year in 2026. Steve, before we let you go, any other message to your team, to the community, as you receive this honor and continue to be one of the staples and the destinations for people looking for a good bite to eat in West Bloomfield?
Well, I'm just incredibly humbled by the nod and the award, and just vow to keep working every day to make each day better than the next, and love what we do.
Well, Steve, we appreciate you joining on and want to extend our congratulations to you and to your team once again for this big honor, the 7th consecutive year you've received this award.
Thank you so much. It was great being here.
Let's see if they can go for year number 8. Big thank you to Steve Goldberg for joining us here on the Splash Live. A West Bloomfield native has been making a big name for himself over social media. Walter Johnston has been spreading barbecue magic and cooking skills with his Roll for Barbecue TikTok series, which has amassed almost 600,000 followers and even the attention of Michigan Governor Gretchen Whitmer, who recently appeared on his show. Walter joined us on the Splash Live to share what this success means to him and where his love of barbecue comes from. Walter, thank you so much for joining us today.
Hey, thanks for having me. It's good to see you at the barbecue.
Absolutely. I'm really excited for this because I am a fan of your channel. I've been watching it for quite a while, and it is incredible to see what you've been able to accomplish at the barbecue. So I got to start from the beginning. How did your passion for barbecue first take shape?
Well, honestly, it all started when I was a kid. I watched my dad grill when I was a kid, and it was love my dad to death, but he did his best. Let's just say it that way. But he cooked for all of us. If one of us wanted burgers, one of us wanted brats, stuff like that, he would do his best with it. Then, long story short, a nasty divorce happened and the barbecue stopped. And then I was a firefighter prior to this. Been retired for about almost 11 years now. And one of my old firefighting buddies said, hey, let's go get something to eat. And so we tried some brisket, and I'm like, this is really good. I'm like, okay, let's see what we can work with this. The minute I tried that, I wanted to get my own smoker. I found the cheapest one I could find on Amazon, and I started doing stuff. A lot of successes, tons of failures, but we're perfecting the art every single day.
That's right.
Now my dad watches me barbecue, and it's pretty funny now.
I'd imagine so, but hey, practice makes perfect. And as I was saying, you've taken this love of barbecue to a great new level. What inspired you to start Michigan Barbecue Addicts?
So honestly, we were making a good recipe online. I was taking photos of it. I found some of those Facebook groups like Meat Church Congregation, stuff like that. And I was like, oh, I'm really proud of this. And I wanted to post my picture and see what people thought, because everybody wants to get that validation online. And let's just say this, no barbecue jokes intended, but I got roasted really, really bad. People were telling me really, really mean things, super judgmental, not even in engaging. And I got really upset. I took that personally. And then my wife, she looked at me and she's like, look, take this down. Let's think about this, and she really changed my perspective. And we turned this into, how can we make a cooking channel that is formed on judgment-free cooking? And that's how the Michigan Barbecue Addicts was developed. We are founded on judgment-free cooking for anybody that wants to learn. I'm not a pro by any means. I'm just a fat guy that knows how to cook in the backyard. That's the biggest thing. And that's how we got started. People love the judgment-free factor, and we've been doing pretty good ever since.
I mean, you seem to be very, very skilled. I mean, we're showing some of your videos on the screen right now. If you're watching on Civic Center TV, you certainly know what you're doing. And it's great that you're showcasing all of these skills to so many other people. Now, I want to talk about your Roll for Barbecue series. It's such a creative concept. Talk about what it is and how did that idea to mix dice rolls and cooking challenges, how did that come about?
So I'll start off by saying this. I'm a nerd, right? I have no shame in my game. I will say that all the live long day. And honestly, I was scrolling on TikTok one day and I found Roll for Sandwich, Adventures in Artie. And I was like, that's an interesting concept. Roll the dice and you can make a sandwich just based on pure chance. Then I've scrolled again. I see somebody does Roll for Pizza. And then I saw Roll for Sushi. And I'm like, we could probably do this with barbecue. So I bought myself a cheap dice tower on Amazon, 2 sets of dice, and I decided, I was like, let's see if we can put a barbecue spin on it. We did. The first episode, I got, again, roasted again. People were like, that's a ripoff, you're doing this all wrong. And then we did it on our own the second time, and everybody absolutely loved it. Ironically, it was right around the time I lost my job at the time, and of course, I'm depressed. I was like, what am I going to do? So we ended up like pushing all of our attention on that. And that's how we grew big on TikTok. Like we did a couple sponsored channels, stuff like that. And it just blew up from there.
That's right. And as you're saying, all of these other great channels have served as inspiration. I should mention Roll for Sandwich, also a Michigan native. So all the good ideas are coming from this state. I just want to point that out. But obviously, when it comes to using these dice, obviously, I'm assuming some of the results are probably better than others. What would you say have been some of your favorite or maybe your most unexpected results so far from the dice rolls? Like one of your best, one of your worst?
So I can tell you my most recent, honestly. So
Sure.
One of the most recent ones that I can tell you was one of the best ones I had recently. Previously, it was a burn-end baked potato. It was a burn-end twice baked potato with like a blueberry barbecue sauce. Really great. But recently, we discovered pumpkin spice turkey breast, which I'm basic. Trust me, I'm very basic when it comes to, fall and stuff like that. So it worked out really good. I mean, it was the flavor dynamics behind the pumpkin spice and the turkey just really, it was so comforting. It was just hit you right in the heart. It was so good. Now, some of the bad stuff, I will say, is the stuff that I've had to drink. Like we did. So Roll for Barbecue around Halloween, my wife and I, it's no surprise here, but we are big spooky people around Halloween. And we have a character on our channel called Mayhem, and he adds either a really great flair to your meal or something that's super cursed and is going to possibly ruin it, right? So one of the ones that we had last year, I was making chicken wings, and he had us blend our chicken wings into apple cider with Worcestershire sauce, and we had to drink it. And commitment to the bit, yes, I drank the whole thing. Did it stay in my system? No, it did not.
I give you props for that, for committing to the bit. I mean, I don't think I would ever want to drink my chicken wings, but so my hat is off to you, sir. And I also want to point out, it is nice that even when maybe the dice rolls don't always go the way that you want it to go, you always offer a little bit of help at the end to say, how can you fix it?
You did it right. We want to be able to fix our meals here because, I mean, honestly, the stuff that I'm making, it's either going to be really good, really bad, or just in between. We want to take it to that next level. So if you want to recreate this at home, you can. I mean, if you're crazy enough to recreate some of the stuff we do at home, go for it. So we want to make it better for you so you can give yourself a different idea of how you want to cook.
There's definitely ones I've got in mind to maybe try myself. Just need to up my cooking skills just a little bit. For those just joining us right now on the Splash Live, I'm talking with the founder of Michigan Barbecue Addicts, West Bloomfield resident Walter Johnston, who has amassed an incredible following on TikTok with almost 600,000 followers, all learning his barbecue magic. Now, I do want to highlight something because you always highlight Michigan barbecue. How does Michigan's local barbecue scene influence your cooking style and the type of content that you create?
Honestly, I mean, I get this question a lot. We get people say, well, Texas barbecue, it's all about salt and pepper, and Kansas City has this, and Memphis has this. Michigan barbecue, to me, is, look, we have cookouts. We like going and closing down an entire block, and everybody gets together, and we just have a good old-fashioned cookout. That's Michigan barbecue right there. Now, how we've incorporated the Michigan twist onto everything, we got our classics. We got Faygo. We have our Vernors. We have our Conies, We have different things that really make Michigan pop, Kogels, all of those big brands. How can we incorporate those into our barbecue? Really adds that Michigan flair. Plus, we like to keep things humble here. We want to make sure that everybody's welcome at our barbecue. As long as there's no hate, no, nothing like that. Everybody's welcome here.
What are your plans in the future, possibly expanding beyond social media?
So ultimately, my biggest goal, I mean, I would love to have first I got to get myself a truck and a pole behind smoker. And I want to be able to, drive anywhere I can and make barbecue, do catered events, stuff like that. That's the idea. We want to be able to spread the Michigan barbecue love across the board. For people who haven't heard of us or haven't been on TikTok, you're not on TikTok, that's fine. We like to try to grow ourselves on social media, so by the time we get to the point where we can, have the funding to do a food truck or something like that, people already know who we are. People already know what our game is and then how we're going to operate.
Well, I can't wait to see it, and I assure you, I will be first in line. I've seen all of your cooking. I want to try it for myself. Now, Walter, a couple more questions before we wrap things up. Where can people go to find you on social media, on TikTok, on all the other places to catch your content in person?
Absolutely. So we operate on a multitude of different social media platforms: TikTok, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube. Those are our main four. But I mean, we're starting to grow everywhere else. We're trying to get onto, Lemonade, Blue Sky, stuff like that. But if you want to find us, mainly Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube. If you want to catch us, if you don't remember that, no problem. Go to MichiganBBQAddicts.com. That takes us right to our store where you can get some amazing merch like Never Trust a Skinny Chef, any of our hats, stuff like that. But there's also a link in there. You can check us out, and that'll take us right to all of our social media links.
Michigan BBQ Addicts, that's where you can find all the magic. All right, Walter, last question before we wrap things up, and I think this might be the most important question of all. It's a little tricky. Out of all of the pieces of barbecue you could possibly make, pork, chicken, ribs, brisket, what's your favorite?
Hands down, it's got to be Snake River Farms Black Grade Wagyu brisket. Wow. We got one sent to us a couple years ago, and I'm still drooling over it right now. Like you mentioned Snake River Farms Black Grade Wagyu brisket, and I need to do some housekeeping here, but it was the most tender, juicy, beefy, delicious. It was insane. It was absolutely insane. It just melted in your mouth. You were like, where'd the food go? It's so good.
I might need to try that for myself. Once again, Michigan Barbecue Addicts, all across social media to catch barbecue tips and roll for barbecue. Can't wait to see what's to come. Walter, thank you so much for joining us today here on The Splash Live.
Thank you, Jake. I appreciate y'all. And, of course, we'll see you guys at the next barbecue.
And that's going to do it for us today here on The Splash Live. Big thank you to all of our guests and for everybody on the Splash Live team for helping to make this show possible every single day. I've been your host, Jake Schaff. Live, local, social. It's The Splash Live on Civic Center TV and 89.3 Lakes FM.